So you're considering moving to Southeast Florida, and maybe you're looking for an area that has low crime, close to the beach, and has a really cool downtown feel. Well, that's Stuart, Florida. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you 3 distinctive areas that I would live in depending on my budget. So we're going to start with a lower budget, a middle budget, and then a higher budget. Let's get into it. So we're going to start with an entry-level budget. All right. So what we have here is this is downtown Stuart up here where my mouse is. All right. So this is the downtown area. I've done quite a few videos on this, on that downtown boardwalk. Gilbert's right down in here. And then this boardwalk, you can walk down into downtown Stuart. Now, just about a mile south, a mile and a half south or so, you start to get into this area where you're going to get these entry-level homes. In Martin County, you can still find something around $250,000. It might be a little bit of a fixer-upper, but you can find it. Now, there are a couple areas that are down in here. You have an area called Coral Gardens, which is right up in here. You're going to be entry level, and I'm going to show you some stats here in a second, but you're going to be entry level probably around $400,000 in here. Down in here in Hibiscus Park, I just actually bought a house down in there for $200,000 that I'm fixing up. So when you get a little bit further down, you get some golf course communities. You get Summerfield, which is Champions Club. And then you also have Lost Lake down in here. Those homes are going to be going upwards of the $500,000, $600,000. Let me give you a taste of what that actually means. So the active property in that area, $314,000 is the lowest right now. Your median or your middle is around $464,000, and then the high range is around $575,000 that's active. So you can see that area entry level, you can get in right around $300,000. So the closed over in there, that 220 was actually mine. It sold for $200,000. But then the closed around 431, and then you can go upwards of $1 million. Now, the next area that I would look at would be Rocky Point. Now, Rocky Point has one way in and one way out. There's actually another golf course down in here called Miles Grant. There's a really cool little park up here called Twin Rivers Park, where you can actually go out and play baseball. I mean, it has a huge area. You can go cast fishing, all that kind of stuff. It's a really great spot to go to. Now, there are a few HOA communities in here, but it's a little bit light. So this is another area that I would look at. I would look at Rocky Point because you're basically going to be driving distance, or you could even hop in your golf cart and come down in here into Port Salerno and go to some of these restaurants that I've showcased in the past. This area over here in Port Salerno might be not an area that you would want to live in. Now, if you're curious about living in Stuart, you can reach out and say, hey, this is my price point. This is what I'm looking for roughly, and we can kind of point you in on that. So drop a comment below if you're curious about the Stuart area. I want to show you this. So this is the active properties. So on the low range, $375,000, you can get in on that range. Now that average gets a little bit higher because there's some properties along the point or along the perimeter of Rocky Point that are on the water. There's also some in Yacht and Country Club that are on the water. So that's going to bump that average sale price up, but you can still get into Yacht and Country Club in areas in Rocky Point for $550,000, $600,000. All right. So the last area, if you didn't want to be in downtown and you wanted a little bit more land, because you're not going to get that in downtown, Sewall's Point would be the way to go. The reason people that like Sewall's Point is basically your driving distance to downtown Stuart, which is right down in here. You're literally 5-minute drive from the beach, 5-minute drive from downtown Stuart, 3-minute drive to Dunkin' Donuts and that kind of thing right down in here. So when it comes to Sewall's Point, the entry level right now, the lowest priced home in Sewall's Point is $750,000. And then the median is, or middle is right around $5,244,000. And then you have units up there in the 24 million. The average closed in there on the low side was 660,000 as of like going back 1 year. And then that average is 2 million. And then the on the high side was 14.5 million. You're going to be definitely on that higher side in Sewall's Point, but it almost feels like an HOA without having the HOA. They got their own police force. You know, they got even their own little plaza over there in Sewall's Point where you can get ice cream and food, and I think there's a barber shop over there as well. So there are 3 different distinct areas that on the entry level side, the $350,000 or so that you can get in a little bit south of downtown Stuart. Then if you wanted kind of that mid-range of the $500,000 or so, you would be over in Rocky Point or even Yacht and Country Club. You can come to Martin County. People say, oh, it's overpriced. It's more, you could get so much more home in Port St. Lucie, which you can. But if you wanted to maybe be in the school districts here, or you wanted to be, kind of close to that downtown feel, then you can get in here for that 300,000, 350,000, maybe a little bit of a fixer upper. And there's all kinds of ranges in there. We will see you on the next one.